Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing and don't forget to click on that bell button so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and share with friends and family. It'll help my channel grow. Okay, so for today's tutorial, we're going to need two of these plate stands. And what you're going to do is break the hinges off of one. And with the one that you leave the hinges on, just go ahead and add your hot glue to the hinges and then add your broken one plate holder stand to the hinges on the one that isn't broken. So go ahead and do that and then set it aside and allow it to glue for the glue to dry. And while that's drying, go ahead and get one of these handcuff chains that you have at your Dollar Tree right now, and with some scissors or a box cutter, go ahead and remove one of the links or the handcuff part off of the chain. And as you can tell, I need to replace my razor on my box cutter, but go ahead and remove one of the cuffs. And what I used was some wiring from Dollar Tree as well. And I ran it through the chain. And in each one of the links, you're going to see that it has an opening, a hole on either end. So just go ahead and run the wiring through there. Now, this does take a little bit of time. I don't have too much strength in my hands, but if you need to, just go ahead and get some pliers and just continue running it through each link of the chain. Now, if I would have done this, if I had a chance to do this again, I would use a skewer stick instead of using this wiring, and you'll know why in just a little bit once I get it all situated and put together. And the reason I can tell you now is that the wiring, it isn't strong enough, so it bends when you actually add everything else to your chain. And with the skewer sticks, it actually just stays in place. And it looks, to me, you can't see it once you decide to paint it and everything. You won't see the skewer stick in between the chain. So I would recommend you go ahead and just use a skewer stick to insert it in between each one of the links instead of this wiring. But since this was my first time making one, I went ahead and used the wiring. And you'll see how I fixed it once I'm done adding all the wiring to my link, each one of my links. You guys let me know in the comments down below if you guys get dressed up for trick or treat, or are you one that just doesn't do that anymore? And if you do, what are you going to be this year? So go ahead, and once you're done adding the wiring to all your links, just make sure you pull it and cut it I want to say at least a good 4 to 5 inches extra in wiring on either side. And what you're going to do is basically the bottom link, you're just going to cut it in half. And you're doing that so once you glue that half link back to your handle part, it's going to actually stay flat on the surface, because that's going to be your stand for your candle opera that we're making. And what I'm doing right now is just basically with my hot glue gun, drilling a hole in my handle part so I could insert the wire and then twist the wire around the bottom of that extra 5 inches that you left out of the wiring, and just twist it around as many times as you can. Now, if you're going to make this, say, just with a single candle on top, then yes, the wiring is perfectly fine and it'll be good and it'll stay and it won't bend. But since I decided to make this into a candle opera, it was a little bit too much weight for this wiring. So once you're done inserting your wiring, you're going to go ahead and get, here I'm just showing you how I twisted it around. Just go ahead and start straightening it out, and then you're going to get the 4 plate stands that you will put together, and you're going to get the extra wiring and twist it around, inserting it inside your plate stands, and just go ahead and twist the wiring around. Now, once you see me done, you'll see that the wiring doesn't hold this weight. So I ended up having to add some skewer sticks to the edges of my chain. It still worked fine and it still looks perfectly fine. But like I said, I would recommend you go ahead and just insert the skewer sticks in between instead of the outside like I did. And all I did was add some hot glue to the ends of my skewer stick. And then just placed one in the front of the chain and one on the back of the chain. So it could be on basically on either side, and depending on which way you placed your candelabra, you wouldn't see the skewer stick. So after it cooled down, the hot glue from my skewer stick, I went ahead and added some super glue to each one of the links where the skewer stick attached to it in order for it to stay. And there you go. It stands up just perfectly fine. Now I went ahead and spray painted all of it gray, and I did like a flat gray. And I also forgot to tell you, I added some of the glass gems that you can buy, or glass marbles that you can buy at Dollar Tree, just so the weight could be distributed even. And I added those to the front of the bottom stand. Now with these little small skulls, I went ahead and cut an opening in the back of the head part. And I did that for it to lay flat onto where my candles will be at. And here you see me eating some ice cream. But you go ahead, I was taking a break. So you go ahead and you get your skulls, and you're going to just remove them and make sure that they're nice and have a nice opening so that you can add your hot glue to each one, and then add them to each of the hook parts of your candelabra. And just hold it for a few seconds to allow it to dry, because if not, it'll just basically fall down. So just go ahead and add a little bit of hot glue. See, it falls down. And just make sure you hold it for a while to allow it to dry. So do that to all 4 corners, or all 4 of the hooks. I need to get me a hot glue gun that has the high and low temperature. I've just never gotten one, but I need to get one because sometimes the temperature of my glue gun makes it harder for me to allow, well, it takes longer for the glue to actually dry. So I have to actually hold it longer. If I had a low one that I could change the temperature on it, I would just put it on low heat, and actually it would take less time for me to hold each one of them to dry. But what I'm doing now is actually adding the skull in between each one of the openings now. And I only used one bag. So with one bag, you can make these mini little skull heads. So there you have it. I added it in between each one of them. Now, once you've added all of them, go ahead and get the biggest skull that you have that we removed from like the trophy kind that it comes with. I know they also have some in individual bags as well, but I got the one that it has the trophy like a stand. So what I did was, where the opening was at, where the trophy was attached to it, or the stand was attached to the skull, I just went ahead and kept cutting around it a little bit at a time, just to make it the opening big enough to where I can insert it into the top of my candelabra. Once I could do that, I went ahead and added some glue and allowed it to dry. Now these purple roses are at your Dollar Tree right now with the Halloween decor. So what I went ahead and did is just basically remove the roses, remove the leaves, and remove some little like wiring. I don't know what it would be called, like stems, I guess, black stems that come with the roses as well. Now I just cut the ends off of the roses, allow for them to be flat, and then glue them around the top part of my candle opera, just like that. And again, holding them until they dry, because they did take a while. And I added all 4 of my roses around. They also have black ones. Now, if you wanted to make this all black and then add black roses, it would be more of a gothic look, which I think might look even pretty too. So that's another idea. You can spray paint this instead of a gray flat color, spray paint it all black and then use black roses or the purple roses as well. But I just decided to go ahead and do it this way. And for some reason, I was just having a really hard time with my glue drying. But once I did all of that work, I decided to go ahead and use the black leaves that come with the roses and add them to the back of the ones that I inserted, the skulls that I inserted in between, just to give it that different look, since there was 4 of them. See how that looks? So I went ahead and did that to all 4 of them. Since they comes with 4 roses, it comes with 4 leaf stems. And so I went ahead and did that to all of my skulls in between each one of the candle holder parts. You guys let me know in the comments down below. Are you going to use black roses or the purple ones like I did, or any other color? Let me know down below what color you're going to be using in roses, or if you're deciding to spray paint this a different color. So once you've allowed all of this to dry, go ahead and get the little stems that comes with it, which is 2 of them, but there's 2 stems in each one. So I just cut them in half to make 4 individual little stems, and add a little bit of glue and then inserted it to the back of my skull on top, just to give it that extra look, that, you know, little touch of more spookiness. I think this would look really cute, not just on a table as a centerpiece, but say you're going to have a Halloween party or something like that, and you just want that extra decor around your cake table or dessert table. This would be really pretty around that as well. Now, what I'm adding in between each one is just for it to hang, is this, I want to say Christmas raffia type stuff that comes around your cats, or I want to say the witches' hats or the shoes. It's it's like garland. So what I did was just removed it from some other DIY. So I had this extra part. So I just went ahead and cut it to size and just glued it in between each one, just so it can drape down. Just like that. And I did that in between each one of them. And then once I glued all of them, I just adjusted it and allowed them, fixed them up so they could stay round the right way and look decent, you know, right, the way they're supposed to. Now for the candles themselves, the little switches on the bottom. So what I decided to do was just add glue to the candle where there is no switch, and then put the switch on the side. That way I could still be able to turn them off and on. Now you don't have to do it this way. You can actually add the glass on top, or maybe a napkin ring, and then place your candle on top of the napkin ring. But I just wanted to go ahead and use just the candles themselves. So this is the way I did it. Now I didn't like that I didn't paint them black. So what I did was the same garland that I had the black, I just wrapped it around each one of the candles. And then there you can just turn it off and on. And I wrapped it around each one of the candles about 3 or 4 times. And if it doesn't want to stay, just add a little dot of hot glue. And this is the way it looks all done. So what do you guys think? And here it is with the lights on. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, you guys stay blessed. Bye.